A cluster of overgrown mounds on disused land marks the site of a massacre. Here, outside the city of Kaunas, Lithuania, lie the remains of an estimated 5,000 Jews. Over 70 years ago, they were rounded up, marched to this spot, and killed by their own countrymen, says Ruta Vanagaita. But such things have not been talked about in Lithuania before now. Vanagaita is a best-selling author, and she's written a book on Lithuanians' complicity in the Holocaust.
5,000 citizens of Lithuania killed by another couple of hundred of our citizens is not an important part of history. It's the first mass murder site in Lithuania ever. So it is worth of just this kind of stick and in the private territory, and the feasts are being organized there. It just says a lot of bad things about my country and about the attitude to the people who were killed.
On the outskirts of Vilnius, a local resident recalls his grandmother's account of what she witnessed. Nearly 2,000 Jews were murdered here.
My grandmother told me that they drove the Jews past that pond over there. Then they collected their valuables, their glasses, earrings, wedding rings, and so on, and they led them into the forest and made them line up. There were women carrying babies among them. Then came the machine gun fire, ta-ta-ta, and they all fell into the pit. My grandmother told me the pit was as full of bodies as a bowl with soup. And who drove the Jews there? The Lithuanians, who else? There weren't any Germans there, maybe one or two standing off to one side.
Nazi Germany carries the principal responsibility for the Holocaust, but how great was the complicity of the Lithuanians? This is the subject of a bitter debate currently raging in the country. Vanagaita spent half a year scouring the archives in the Lithuanian capital Vilnius. She discovered that her own family had been involved in the mass murder of Lithuanian Jews.
I realized that, my grandfather, who was a hero, who was anti-Soviet and suffered for Lithuania, also was not, I wouldn't say the perpetrator or the killer, but he was one of the people who made this massacre possible. So it means that my country's history, the victims and heroes could have been, participants of the murders as well.
In the summer of 1941, German forces occupied Lithuania. But after 2 years of foreign rule by the Soviet Union, many Lithuanians welcomed the invaders as liberators. This banner says, "Lithuania serves the Führer." The Nazis had no trouble finding collaborators. Whether it was 1,000 or 20,000 is hotly disputed. But there can be no doubt that with their help, over 90% of Lithuania's Jews, about 200,000 people, died in the Holocaust. Ruta Vanagaita is not afraid to face her critics, not even the right-wing extremists, as they march through Kaunas. On the internet, Vanagaita has been reviled as a traitor.
You say the Lithuanians liked killing Jews. I doubt that.
No, I didn't write that.
Well, I haven't read the book.
That's how it is. Nobody's read the book, but everybody thinks I want to harm Lithuania.
Vanagaita says she intends just the opposite. She wants Lithuania to face up to its past. A first step could be to publish a list naming the Lithuanian collaborators that the Historical Institute compiled in the fall of 2016 after years of controversy. Ephraim Zuroff recites the Mourner's Kaddish, a Jewish prayer for the dead. His great-uncle was among those murdered in Lithuania. As director of the Simon Wiesenthal Center in Jerusalem, Zuroff is one of the principal Nazi hunters. He's been supporting Vanagaita's efforts for years and pressuring the Lithuanian government to admit to the country's role in the Holocaust.
Lithuania is full of places like this. This is no different than dozens and dozens and dozens, more than 200 such places. Beautiful forests. In the middle of a beautiful forest, all of a sudden you have a mass murder site.
The Jews were never considered, our citizens, people like us, that the memory should be respected. They were, they deserved what they got. That is it. I mean, people wouldn't say it openly, but why the places are neglected, never visited, and you see that nobody even give a thought that these people are there. They were not brought to nice cemeteries. They are there in 5-6 layers.
Ruta Vanageta and Efraim Zurov say the situation is unacceptable. They intend to carry on until Lithuania is ready to face its past.